Okay, today I'm going to build one of these cement planter boxes. If you want to know how I did it, stay tuned. Now as you can see, that one looks like it's been there for a while. Yeah, I've done it probably about a year and a half ago, and at the same time I built another 10 of them. So they're really good. Once they're done, maintenance is real easy. You don't have to worry about grass trying to get in there because it's elevated. It's easy to control weeds. It's easy to control all the mulch and everything you put on there. And yeah, I think they're great. It's not quite finished yet. I'm still going to paint them and maybe do a bit of an edging around the bottom. That's why I haven't painted it, so that'll be for another day. But if you want to see how I build these things, I'm going to build one up near the house, and I'll show you how I did it. Cheers. Alright, there's my little beautiful girl Mia, little chihuahua. She's about 3-4 year old now. Anyway, let's get back to this. Those 2 lots of 4 pieces of boxing is how I make it. You can see, have a look on the back here. Got a nice piece of wood all the way down the back there that helps keep everything square. Also helps me to tie everything in when I bolt it together. You can see right here I've overlapped this, so I get that nice edging on the top. That's how I did that. So that's my outside pieces, and these are my 4 boxed inside pieces. They obviously make a big square and help retain all the cement. As you can see on the back here, I've made some type of handle just to help make it easier to pull them all apart. Those 2 pieces are the same. As you can see with these 2, there's a cut through here because I've split these 2 boards, and what that allows me to do, which if you didn't do it, allows me to take the inside boxing apart easier without breaking the cement. So when we get to that point I'll show you what I mean, but that is a must to make things work. Otherwise you'll be struggling to pull those pieces out. Alright, I'm going to put them together now. Okay, this is what you're going to need to put everything together. These 4 bolts, I'll show you what they're for later on. That's for the inside pieces when you bolt all the 4 boards together. Ratchet obviously to tighten them up. And you got 8 bolts there, and you got 8 bolts there. Ryobi Phillips head ratchet gun, and tape measure. I'll show you the measurements of the things once they're all put together. Before I bolt this all together, make sure you do this if you happen to make these pieces up. I've made a marking 2 over on this side. We've got 3 over on this side. Got an XX and a 1 and a 1. So as you can see, I've put 4 different markers on each corner. The purpose of that is so when you put it together, you use the same corners for each end, so you're not mixing boards up and getting things out of shape, because when you make this up it all lines together. But if you don't use the same corners, they'll get out of alignment, and you'll have gaps on each edge and cement may fall apart. So even though these are all perfectly identical, I've done that to make sure that everything fits perfectly together every single time. That's my other little girl, Gracie. What are you doing, Grace? Hey, Mimi? You been a good girl? Alright then, there's the stars, and right on cue, the neighbour starts the lawnmower. Anyway, that's life. Put these together and I'll be back. So it's pretty easy to put together. Just got to get two sides and just balance them up against each other. Then just get two screws through those big pieces of I think they're 70 by 35 box housing frame stuff that I used. Yeah, just bolt that all up. That's your main strength there, and then I'll put in two bolts, one on the top and one on the bottom. That's the top one going in. The bottom one I think I forgot, but I'll show you that later. You can see how strong it is. Now this is the inside piece. Just got 4 bolts to put in, one on each corner, and just use a ratchet, about a 9/16 bolt, nice thick bolt, so it actually bites into the piece of wood and holds it together nice and firm. Okay, so that's where I'm going to stick it. As you can see, the grass is already starting to die in that corner. Summer's just finished here in Australia, but yeah, approaching winter, that's going to be all dead again. So this is blue couch and green couch, a bit of a mixture. So that's where I'm going to stick the box. It's going to go right there. And yeah, one less hassle. Now I'll just take out some dirt. As you can see, the veranda up the top here is higher than where I am standing down there below. So I've got to dig out a fair bit as I'm coming up to right up to there, and just a little bit down the bottom here. So it's nice and soft, this dirt around here. We have had plenty of rain too in the Wide Bay, Queensland area. So that also helps digging this up. But yeah, always get a nice long-handled shovel. Always makes things a lot easier. Just here, this is where I'm just going to mark it out, just to get all my measurements right. Just a guesstimate, nothing serious. So don't want to take out too much grass where I don't need to. Just taking out the inside edge now. Just trying to get it as level from just using my eyes to start with. And I'm going to put tiles, them pavers around the outside edge, so I'm just using them as a measurement to see where it's got to go. Let's get the level out. Got to get it nice and level now. Don't have to get it 100% level, but try and get it around that 90-95% level, because I'll show you a little trick later on, little shortcut on how to get this nice and level real easy. So if you can get it close to that level, that'll make things a lot easier in the long run. So I think I've just about got it pretty well right now. Just a little bit more. I'm lucky I'm in a bit of a shaded area there too, so it's not out in the full sun, but make sure the inside area is a little bit level. Yeah, that's looking good now. Okay, now that I've got this all nice and level, what you need to do now is, for example, see these areas here? From there to there is 120 centimeters. There to there is 120 centimeters. So it's all square everywhere. And now you've got to keep that square. But when you put cement into these areas here, I guarantee you there's going to be movement. These are going to move, and everything's going to get out of alignment. So it's not going to be square like it is now. So what you need to do is make some keys up. When I say keys, I've made these. Made about 8 of these up, and what you do is, you can see I've got 2 slots in there. So when you've got everything nice and level, these are all equal in size, and you just keep slotting all these all around, just like that, and keep going all the way around to the other side. And once that's all done, then you can start pouring. But before I start pouring, I've just got to go cut some Rio up, weld it all up so I can drop it inside there, help secure this together without cracking in the long run. So I'll go do that now, and I'll be back after I show you how to put all the keys in. Okay, so I welded up that Rio, and you can see now I've placed it on top of my keys, and you can see fits perfectly square in the middle of everything. So okay, what I'm doing right now is I'm painting the inside with some oil. I just use some old oil, for example, old sump oil. Doesn't have to be anything special, just so long as it's oil. And if you can, make sure you coat all the areas where the cement is going to be buried in. This will prevent the cement from sticking to your framing, and it'll come off really easy. Okay, so all the preparation has now been completed, and the fun begins. So this is the first wheelbarrow load of cement. Just keep filling it. What I normally do is fill it up at least halfway on each corner. That way, when you've got the cement in there, there's going to be no movement, there's going to be no stress points anywhere. So just keep filling it till you get to about halfway. Then you can remove all the keys. You can then stick your Rio in the center, and then I'll just go around as I did with that little piece of Rio, just tapping around everywhere to make sure there's no, well, you can't reduce air bubbles, but you can sure try and help minimize them by doing that. Now this is this little trick I was telling you about. So when it comes to getting the exact level, so check all your levels on each 4 points of each corner, find out which ends are going to be moved up, and just simply move them up. And when you do that, the concrete will hold your boards up. So just go around, get it as level as you possibly can. I mucked around here for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then I've done the inside. That's going to make sure you do that. Get the inside nice and square as well. And once that's done, you can then begin to start filling again. And just keep filling up to right up to the top. Don't have to be really particularly spot on here, but as you start to get towards the end, you can. Now this is what I'm just hitting it with a brick just to try and pop some air bubbles out if I can, just to help things in the long run. So just about finished. This will be probably the last wheelbarrow load, I'd say. Just keep leveling it off, tap the corners, try to get the air bubbles out. And I'm just using a wooden trowel there that just pushes everything around nice and flat. You want to get it as level as you possibly can. So here I'm just going around adding a little bit more here and there as everything starts to dry up a little bit. So now I'm going around with a metal trowel about half an hour later, once it's sort of settled down, and try and smooth off the top area. This is where you want it to look nice and flat. This is what's going to be exposed, so you want to try and make this look nice. As you can see, it's nice and flat now. Now I'm just smoothing off all these areas. I've just got a edging trowel here that takes off all those pointy edges and puts a nice round face on it. So I'll go around and I'll do the inside edge. And then once I've got that nice and rounded off, I'll do this outside area as well. This is a must. You got to do this. You want to finish off your concrete as nice as possible. But like I said, make sure you wait for a good half an hour, let the moisture settle down. Now just cover it and let it cure overnight. Now this is what it looks like the next morning, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to go around and I'm going to tap all the outside areas of these boards, just hitting that framing wood. I don't want to wreck my other wood, so just go around and tap it. What this does, it'll help release the boards from the concrete. And yeah, make sure you do the inside. Make sure you do all this tapping before you unscrew everything. Here I am unscrewing those bottom ones and the top ones first. Now I'll unscrew these side boards that mainly hold everything together, and you'll see how easy it is now. I'll just get this hammer, give things a little bit of a tap, and that's it. Your board falls off, all because you put that oil on there, done your preparation beforehand, and it's just so easy if you do everything as I've shown you already. I think I keep this all in normal motion so you can see exactly how long it actually takes to get these boards off and how difficult it is. And when I say difficult, it's not. That's it. Once you've tapped everything around and undone all your screws, everything just falls apart. Two more bolts to come out, and that's it. See, it just all falls apart, nice and easy. None of this board sticking to your cement and pulling off big chunks. Everything's done perfect. It's nice and easy. It's not hard at all. Now I'll show you how easy it is to get these boards out. What I'm doing is just undoing all the four corners, and then I've just got to undo these two bolts that are holding in these two middle sections that split open these boards. And this is how hard it is to get this apart. Give everything a nice little tap again, which we've already done. But that's one piece out. These are these half pieces which I was telling you about to make things a lot easier. Can be a little bit fiddly there because you haven't got a lot of room, but once you break it open, it simply just falls apart. There's that other half piece. Don't mix them up, put them both together so you know where they all go. And there you go, all of about 40 seconds a minute and everything's apart. Go around, just give it a bit of a hose. The more you water it, the harder it's going to get. You can see all the oil on the cement there. This is what is a must. As soon as you take all these boards off, make sure you go around and clean up all that old concrete that's on there. Get it all off as much as you possibly can. It's just going to make it so much better for the next job. So it's a must. Make sure you always clean your tools, everything up. If you don't, it'll just make things harder next time you use them. And there's the finished product. Come up really good. Nice and square. And that box ain't gonna move in no time. So make sure whenever you make one of these boxes, you're gonna leave it there forever, because that's the whole idea of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got all these pavers, as you can see, and I've dug out a hole around the outside of the box, and I'm going to put all these pavers, lay them all down, put some cement down first, and then put them on top. There's a pipe I've put in for the hose there, so I've got the level on there to make it nice and level. But yeah, I've got to cement that in at the same time. Made up some cement, and I've got a string line there, so I know exactly how level I need to put these pavers. Usually I use a rubber mallet, but I couldn't find it today, so I'm just using the metal mallet hammer. So you just got to be a bit careful you don't chip your pavers. So here I am, I'm just filling it all up again. Get as much in there as possible. And that bucket of water I got there, I dip all the tiles in there, all the pavers in there as I'm going along, because without that it'd suck all the cement out of the cement I've laid. So it's good practice. Wet them tiles down. It'll also help it adheres to the cement. That paver I just pulled out then was upside down, so make sure you don't put them upside down, you won't be happy. So yeah, cut out a little piece there. Yep, this piece of wood, as you can see, just it's a trick of the trade. That's how you get your pavers nice and flat and straight. None of those little edges sitting up in the air. And just clean up all your mess. Don't want any cement drying on there. So this is the next day. It's all cured off, all those cement under them tiles. So as you can see, it creates a nice border around the outside. Them pavers, they're a little bit dirty at the moment, but they'll clean up in a couple of weeks. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make some mortar up, and I'm going to fill in all the little gaps in between the pavers, and yeah, clean it up. So I bought one of these things quite a couple of years ago. They're handy as, so yeah, instead of wheeling out the cement mixer for a small portion, just get one of these things. They're great. A couple $100. Make sure you clean it every time. It'll last forever. So what I'm going to show you here is when you pour this box, air gets trapped in between the cement, and you can see right here, I just slow it down for you, all the little air bubbles, and it's quite a few, as you can see. So I'm going to be wiping this mortar into those areas, not on the inside. I'm not worried about the inside, but the outside. So I'll show you the best way that I've found. What I've got is a sponge, and I just keep dabbing mortar on the end of my sponge, and I just keep wiping it in there. So yeah, the sponge just helps push it all into all the little areas. There's probably other ways you can do it, but I found this is the quickest way to do such a small area. And there you can see I'm just pushing it all into the tile, into the pavers. You can use a trowel if you want, just to get it in there a bit deeper. Here I've wet the sponge up just a little bit more, just to help push it into them holes. Probably a little bit too wet, but yeah, it's still going to work. It's going to use a bit more extra mortar and make a bit more mess, that's all. So when you're finished all pushing all your mortar into all the holes, you've got to make sure you clean all that cement off. So just keep cleaning off your sponge and wipe it all down. Just keep doing that. And as you can see, it's just starting to get cleaner and cleaner as we keep going along. So right here, when I pulled off the outside boards, it chipped off an edge. So I'll show you how to fix that edge up, and it's just simply just using that mortar I just made. So it's a little bit sloppy, this mortar, but it'll start drying out over the next couple of seconds. And as you can see right here, all you got to do is shape it. If you've ever used body filler on a car before, it's basically the same way, except you don't have to be so perfect. And just don't get too fussy. Once you get it near enough is close enough. So it's the next day again, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use this paper, which is just an offcut, and I'm going to use it just like a sandpaper block, and it's got a bit of weight behind it, and I'm just going to go around the whole lot of this cement. Everywhere where I put mortar yesterday, I'm going to go around and rub it down just like a block, and take all the rough edges off. If you do this, it'll just make it so much more neater in the long run. And you just take all those rough edges, which are eventually going to fall off. So if you're going to paint it, you want to take as much of those rough edges off, because you don't want your paint flaking off later on. So this will clean it right up, and like I said, all those air bubbles that were caught in the cement, they're basically all gone. You won't remove all of them, but you know, close enough is good enough. And as you can see, I've got my little helper over there, Mia and Grace, they're helping me. So yeah, this is what I do whenever I make a box up. Done it over a couple of days, but it's well worth it. When I'm finished doing all this, yeah, clean all that cement dust off, get it all nice and clean again, and there you go. That's what it looks like. It's the next day or that afternoon again. Everything's dried off now, and you can see how nice that looks. All I've got to do now is well, I pushed all the grass in there yesterday, right up to the pavers, but all that grass start growing now. Give it a couple of weeks and it should be, you won't even know that that grass was looked like that, or ripped out. But I'll end up painting that. I'll get the wife to put in a plant of her choice. So instead of having an area where the grass won't grow, we now have a planter box. So here we go, we're going to paint it. Got some Dulux, it's an Australian brand. It's a grey, as you can see. It's called Tea House, and yeah, it's a nice grey. It's not a red grey, it's a green grey. And this is my second coat. I've already put one coat on before, and yeah, just put a nice thick coat on it. Just use that piece of cardboard down the bottom there. This just helps me from you know, if I make any mistakes or splashes. Yeah, just mask go around. I've masked up around the perimeter of the box. If you can see a white line there, that's sticky tape. So it's the best thing you can do when you're painting is yeah, put a piece of tape around everywhere so you get your lines nice and straight, and helps with any mistakes. So yeah, just put it on nice and thick, fill any pinholes, go around it. I'm just going to go around it again, and just with the brush, make sure I've got everything covered, haven't missed anywhere, and all done. So here's the plant of choice. It's a croton. I'm just trying to center it right at this particular moment. Sometimes it looks like it's in the center, but it ain't. But this is some compost that I've just been making over the years. I just collect all my palm fronds and grass clippings, and yeah, 2 barrel loads over the years, and yeah, even old food scraps I'll put in there, and it should really make this plant nice and happy. So it's all filled in now. Now I'll clean up the area and give the plant a really good soaking, and yeah, put some dynamic lifter on it. This will encourage the roots for the plant and make it a lot happier. So there you go. It's all finished. That's the finished product. I hope you all liked it. If you do, give me a like, please. It helps the channel. And I think that plant really, really looks good. Suits the brickwork. And yeah, I love it. My wife loves it. Well, thanks for watching. And if you just look to the right there, you can see the grass is missing. So I've already started doing another job. So yeah, keep watching, and next video you'll see what I'm doing. Thanks.